Discover connection, awaken sacredness, become empowered. Join us for our show on Blog Talk Radio. Discover your spiritual gifts live.
Welcome to Discover Your Spiritual Gifts Live. This is show number 8. We are your hosts, Dave,
Vialet,
and Jason.
Our guests today are Richelle Kemper and Marva Jolly. Welcome, Richelle and Marva. Thanks for being on the show.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. We will love to be here.
Great. Well, let's start with you, Richelle. Tell us a little bit more about your background and how you got into spirituality and just what you continue to discover.
Thanks, Dave. So my background is, as I came upon my path about 3 years ago when we moved to Denver, very spiritual place. And I was wondering what my direction was going to be. I had just sold my business and my husband had just retired from the military. And we decided that we wanted to retire here. Retire's not the right word, but
a relative term.
A relative term, thank you. And so when we got here to Denver, I said, I should go see somebody. And I went to go see somebody that could read my numbers. And during about the middle of it, she said, "Oh, you're a healer." And I said, "A healer? What's that?" And she said, "Well, I can't really tell you." She said that, you're going to have to do some research on your own. She said, because everybody's different and there are so many different modalities. Well, at that time, we had our dog, and our dog had hip dysplasia at a very early age, about the age of 1, and which was very unusual. So we took him to the pet expo, and they were offering healings there for pets and readings. And the lady that we took him to, she said, he is here for you. And that, he is showing me your path, that everything is falling into place in these little puzzle pieces, and that he will be a healer with you. And of course, I have tears streaming down my face that this dog is just so awesome. But she became my teacher, and for 1.5 years. And once I left her program, it was kind of like when you get on the path and you hear about this modality and that modality, and you meet this person and that person, and it's like squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. And everything was so amazing. And so going and taking all of these classes, and it kind of brought it around to what I am today as a restoration master energy healer. And so I see things around people as like an Excel grid sheet. And in the Excel grid sheet, we get things that get stuck in the little boxes. And so I can see those, whether they're past lives, whether there are little traumas that have happened in your life. And I can help move those out. But through the regridding, or if you've blown a formula in an Excel grid sheet, that's what the regridding is. So bringing in the different energies that people work with. They may or may not know what those are. So colors, flowers, unicorn energy, dragon energy, the archangels, all sorts of fabulous things that they can sit with. Once I've told them, like, oh, your power animal today was a buffalo, or you had Sasquatch energy that came through for you today. And it's all pretty fascinating because everybody's different, but that's how I restore their grids around them.
That sounds great.
So how often does somebody need their grids restored? What are some of the things that occur with us that we might need to come and see you that you've noticed?
That's a good question. I do have people ask that, and I think, like a lot of other practitioners, once you've done this good, deep healing work, I say 6 weeks to sit with all of that we've debriefed at the end of this session, to sit with maybe a past life that has come through, and what is that? Why is that showing up? Or to sit with a particular energy that's come through, your unicorn energy, and how that can help you move forward. So I say about every 6 weeks, depending on how much has come through.
That makes sense.
Now, where do you go mentally when you're working with somebody? Are you in semi-meditation, semi-trance? You just, where are you coasting and drifting as you're reading all of this?
So once I've connected in with the person, I feel like we go into the astrals. And it is a bit of a trance, but I can feel the other person next to me as we're floating kind of above the bed that they are laying on, the healing bed. And so I'll tap into the person, and so say it was Jason, I'll go, Jason, can you look down on your body and see, is there anything else in there that you would like to heal or that you would like to see? And then I'll just listen for the response if there's something that I haven't caught. And so I kind of feel a little floaty when we do that.
Oh yeah, I'm totally levitating right now.
And as you look down, what would you like to fix, Jason?
The audio levels when we all laugh together at the same time.
Oh, don't take the fun out of it.
It redlines. I'm sure people hearing this are like, I'm okay.
Well, as always on these types of things, give us some stories about some of your clients where we're curious.
Oh yeah, okay, so one of my favorites. This was a young man, and I only knew just this very slight background. And that he decided that he was going to come in, and once he fell asleep on the bed, I love it when that happens, because I always feel like somebody trusts me enough to fall asleep and let me work on them. But I could see 2 past lives, and I feel that a lot of the younger generation that could, in their 20s maybe, that come in, have a lot to deal with, and some of them can medicate all different sorts of ways. And this particular young man did self-medicate, and because I think that there were things that he wasn't looking at. And 2 of the things that I thought he wasn't looking at were 2 past lives. One of them was he was an Army officer, and so and this was at a time when we were establishing all of our new colonies, and there was a lot of the Indians that were being forced out. And as an Army officer, he was responsible for his own troops, but he was also really responsible for securing new land, and so displacing all of these Indians. There was a lot of war that happened, and he had a lot of guilt that he had not processed, and that he brought forward in this life. And then the second life that I saw for him was that he was African American, and he was trying to do some atonement in that life, and he was helping in the Underground Railroad, but he didn't feel like it was enough to atone for all that he had done from that previous life we had just talked about. So those 2 things I told him about. At that particular time, I don't know that he could digest exactly what it was that I was saying. I don't know that he actually came from that spiritual world where this is a real thing. But it was like, you need to sit with these because they are bothering you in this lifetime.
It's really powerful, right? When you think about, a lot of people don't understand that the things that have happened to us or occurred in past lives really do impact us and follow us through in this lifetime. And we might have certain behaviors, characteristics, emotions, thought patterns that are really attached to things that have happened that we don't really understand.
Or for healers, a lot of aches and pains come through from other lifetimes. And sometimes it leads you to a place where you have to forgive who hurt you in that other lifetime to release that energy, because you're just getting that constant, nagging on you that you got to look into this. And frequently, I'm sure we've all seen it, you get people who show up and, man, my shoulders hurt for months and months, and the doctors can't find anything wrong with it. Well, for us, that's usually bingo, we need to drill deeper on this one and go find out where else that could come from.
Akashic luggage
The luggage that we take. That's really, really true. It really does happen that way. And I've experienced Richelle's healing at the very beginning, and it was so powerful and so helpful. I love her approach and what she does in that, and I loved what we received during that process. So it was really, really cool when we did that and looking at it. So it was an amazing process. So
Thank you, Miss Vialet.
you're very welcome.
Yeah, I'm also a beneficiary of a Richelle treatment.
Thank you, Dave. Your turn, Jason.
I hold you in the highest regard.
You're so pretty.
This was a great story. I'm totally going to tell this story.
Now you're in trouble.
This weekend we're at a fair, and had worked on this gentleman, and he got out of my chair and he looked at me and he goes, "You're so pretty," and I kind of jarring after his session, and I looked over and I go, "Did you just say I was pretty?" And he goes, "Yes, you're so pretty." And I go, "So what you mean is that I feel really good to you?" And he looked at me and he goes, "Yeah, that's what I mean."
So clearly it's the right thing to say sometimes.
Oh, that was awesome.
Oh, running joke.
Well, did anybody break out in the song, "I'm so pretty"?
Dancing through the expo.
I'm not as quick as you are, Dave.
Yes. Went with one of those banners behind you, waving in the wind.
Oh, I love it. Something else that I saw this weekend was I saw somebody with bricks on their feet. And that was really interesting to see the archangels come in and help clear those bricks so that they could move forward.
Wow, that's an interesting, stuck,
Like stuck.
really stuck. Imagine the heaviness of that.
This recently I saw a big round disc around somebody's hips. And I was having trouble pushing it out, and I asked the archangels to come in, and it was Michael, and pushed that down all towards their feet and out, and then so we circled it around after that with light, and this person was trying to manifest new clients as a coach, and so then I could then see a line of different clients around his hips so that he could move forward, and we just said, okay, now make sure that they are only divine high level beings that he could work with, and that was a lot of fun to see that move forward. One more story?
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
the Italian archangels call that a concrete tutu.
Oh, ouch.
He dances with the fishes.
I love that comic relief.
Jason's on today.
I love that. So I had a lady that stopped by this weekend, and I said, when she got in my chair, I go, "Have we ever worked together?" And she said, "Yes. As a matter of fact, it was a couple of fairs ago," and I thought she meant last November, and she said, "No, it was a year prior to that." And I said, "Okay," and I said, "So what's been going on with you?" And she said, "Well, quite a bit. I have just finished chemo and radiation," and she said, "And it's thanks to you." And I go, "Well, please tell me this story."
Well, she's not blaming you. That's
No,
a good,
she's not
that's a
blaming you.
good sign.
She had a big smile, thank goodness. She said that I had been working on her, and then I had told her that there was this block that I'm sure that I was trying to push energy up through her feet, and I couldn't get past a block somewhere in her midsection, in her stomach area. And she said, because you said that to me, I was very vigilant over the next couple of months with my doctors, because I could tell that there was something wrong. And she said, if you couldn't move it, then something really we needed to find whatever this was. So she finally went to the gastroenterologist. I may be saying that, like, butchering it really bad.
Just
Sorry.
say GI doctor.
The GI doctor, and they found cancer.
Yeah.
And she said, but I would not have known if you hadn't said something. So I couldn't specifically see it, but to know that, that we all have that capability to just do that small little bit to help somebody is just so amazing.
Right, so they can go check it out and see what's wrong. It's really important, right? Because if you can catch it really early, there's a lot more you can do about it than later on. So pretty awesome.
So it's kind of like you give spiritual colonoscopies.
Dave's on today too.
And apparently it starts at your feet.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a really long.
It's all about the energy.
Jason, you want to book a session? You're so pretty. Good. I can keep my shoes on. To be honest, I have had a session with Richelle, and the floaty part of it is so very real, and that out-of-body experience, that astral space, is exactly where the whole thing occurs. It was really cool to be connected to that, and to feel that you're not there by yourself, right? To have somebody who is there with you, and taking a look at all your pieces and parts that need some love and attention, but also giving you the option to say, hey, I see this and I see that, can you help me with it?
Right, because it takes both of us.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do your own healing too.
Yep.
It's work.
Do work.
Do work.
It is work. It is work. Well, Richelle, you introduced all of us to Miss Marva Jolly here.
Love her.
Love you too, hon. I love being here with everybody. It's great.
So what do you do, Miss Marva? What brought you down this path?
Ooh, I started out life as an engineer, civil, and playing in designing soils and foundations and dealing with all of that. So I've been grounded most of my life, but never
With the bricks, you got the brick shoes.
I got the brick shoes.
With the matching tutu?
I concrete and rock and soil, and it all works. It's great. Beautiful combo. Yeah, I started out with that, and I had never found a spiritual path that really worked for me. I attended Catholic school, and that never really fit. My mom took us to Baptist, Methodist, different churches, and I always played along, but it never really touched me in my heart. So I was always aware of other things, but didn't have a name for it, didn't have a whatever. Just my mom called it intuition. Just listen to your gut, that little voice inside there. I was like, okay. So I had lost my job as a civil engineer 2 years in a row, and it was one of those, hey, this isn't right for you. And I went, no, I can't. So I fought against that and got another job with a different company. A year later, almost to the day, here's your pink slip again. I'm like, okay, I get it. I didn't realize that was the biggest moving thing in my life to actually send me down this path, because I'm stubborn. If anybody knows me, it takes a little bit to get me in the right spot where I need to be. So twice knocked upside the head, I went, okay, fine, I'll do whatever. I started cleaning houses, and I put myself back through nutrition school. I found a holistic nutrition school that really resonated with me, because it's got that alternative piece, but it also had the anatomy and physiology piece. And I came into contact with a girl who did some healing on me while I had a headache one day, and she used a procedure called one of the techniques from Healing Touch. And I am prone to migraines, and it went away within 10 minutes. And I don't know what she did. I said, I don't know what you did, but I need to do that. That's calling, because that's powerful. And she gave me a name, and I just took it from there, started taking classes, and made it through their level 5 of their program, and it changed my life. It really did. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was doing home in my body, home in my energy, home, like I'd come back home. So I knew I was in the right spot, so I could help people. And adding in that nutrition piece and combining the two of them really is where I found like the sweet spot. So I use the techniques from the Healing Touch program. I've also taken further classes, and combined other little modalities in there. So I can't really call it full on one modality, but there's also messages from spirit that come in, from ancestors and angels, and
you talk to pets.
I talk to pets too. I didn't realize that I did that until I took a class for healing animals. And the teacher looked at me. We had a horse there, and she was trying to get it to focus so that it would do what she wanted, to lift a leg, and she could, and she looked at me. She looked at the class and said, "Whoever's talking to the horse needs to stop." And I looked around, and the horse and I had been communicating about it wanted to be out in the field, and it showed me a stream that it would rather be, out there playing in, and I was like, oh, that's awesome, And then she brought this to our attention that someone was talking to the horse, and I just kind of, looked. I felt like that little child in kindergarten who had just been reprimanded. And I was like, oh, I guess I was talking to the horse. So. Other animals, my dog and I converse sometimes, and I talk to my girlfriend's horses, and she calls me when she can't get through to them because sometimes they don't want to talk to her, so I do long distance with her horses. So it's good practice. And I don't know, I go where spirit leads me, and I love this journey. It's been so much fun. And Richelle found me at a fair, and I ended up at the table right next to her. And she said, oh, you have this wonderful place. You have to come see. And here I am. I came and I set up an appointment with Miss Vialet and stopped in. And she showed me the beautiful new space that she was creating here. And they were going to be moving into a larger area. And I said, okay, I'll think about it. A week later, I showed up with my paperwork and said, I want to be part of what you're doing. It moves, and I listen, and I go. And the sooner I let go of any doubt or any, control in my life, and I say, okay, I'm following what you do, things blossom and open up, and it has been an incredible journey. It's been great. I am so glad to be here.
Well, you both are awesome. Both of you teach here at the center different classes. You both bring different teachings to the center. Richelle, you want to share a little bit about some of the classes that you've held here, your Crystal Babies and your Hudson Gardens?
Yeah, actually tomorrow night on Thursday, I'll be taking a group over to Hudson Gardens, which is like 2 blocks from Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. And I'm going to be teaching basic grid working. So grid working is anchoring in light into the ley lines and Mother Gaia's elementals, and helping power those up so that they will then help us power up and our ascension. So tomorrow we're going to be taking crystals, we're going to be taking sacred herbs, and we're going to be gifting them to the trees and the rocks and the waterways. It's going to be so much fun. That's one of my favorites, is being a grid worker. And I also teach a class here, the making of crystal pets, which Marva and I are going to talk about in just a little bit. But we'll ask the crystals, so tumbled crystals like hematite and rose quartz and amethyst, and we'll say, who would like to work with this fabulous little stuffed unicorn? And so once we get the right crystals, we put them on the inside and sew them back up, put a tag on them, what the crystals are and their healing properties. And people go, oh, that's great for children. Well, believe it or not, we sell more to adults than we do to children, but they're good for both. Their healing properties are amazing, and they feel so good.
I have 3 of them.
Wonderful.
I probably have 10. I've bought a lot of them.
And you have a mermaid.
And I do. I have a mermaid and an owl and a peacock, and the list goes on and on and on. But every time they bring them out, I end up buying one. I have them everywhere. And Marva here does soap making classes where people can come and play in the soap.
Absolutely. I love to do things that combine both the left brain and the right brain. And for me, it was soap making. My son and I both have very sensitive skin, and he had a really strong reaction as a child, so it was a lifelong search with him to find soaps that would actually work for him. So I was just, being the engineer, I'll just figure it out. So I started making my own, and I love teaching people, and I had the opportunity to start doing that several years back with the city of Inglewood and other recreation centers. And Violet said, "What do you want to teach?" And I was like, "I only know a few things here. Let's start with that." And so I really enjoy watching people be able to, I'll do most of the science part behind the scenes for them. So I do all the formulation of the oils and the lye and it's cold process soap making, but it's my favorite part to get up there and actually explain that to them and then watch their creative process when they get to add the essential oils and the herbs and all of that, because that's the creativity that just blossoms into something beautiful, and it's really fun. I enjoy doing that quite a bit. So, yeah.
And your tuning fork class?
Yes, I've taught a tuning fork class. I did a healing class when I was first in the Healing Touch program. It was a side class that I took on there, and it affected me quite deeply when I actually got to see people's energy move using the sound waves of a tuning fork, and it was beautiful. And so I decided to bring that here and teach a class on that. And I also taught a pendulum, how to use a pendulum, because in what I do, I use a pendulum as almost like an extension of my hand to give me yes and no answers, what's going on with that person's body or their energy field. I also use my hands in treatment sessions with people because I'm kinesthetic, so I feel the energy field. I feel thicker parts, warm parts, cold parts, and I can therefore find energy that might be stuck in their energy field and work with that. So it's another tool that helps, and people seem to enjoy learning. So I thought, okay, we'll try this pendulum, the vibrational healing. It's all come together. Find what works for you.
I've never worked with the tuning forks.
Oh.
I've never had an opportunity to work. So is it a certain vibration? What is happening that it's moving the energy?
It is the vibration that's moving the energy. There's vibrations that are attuned to each of the chakras so that you can use it in specific areas. And then there's also a full body one that I use that goes, and it really just kind of sets that whole, the vibration of the entire body and the energy body as well, to keep that healing that we've just done and really kind of seal it in and make sure that your whole body is just working at optimal. Your energy as well as your physical body are receiving the energy, and everything is working optimally together. So it works really well.
Very cool. I've never experienced it. I should try that.
Yeah.
It's a lot like the bowls, right? Just in a different form.
It's a different form.
And it definitely has a different tone to it, but the notes are the same.
And it's a targeted, you can actually use one of the tuning forks to get into a certain area and almost use it like a dig out tool. You can, move energy more quickly in a specific area, or you can just run it across the entire body. If they're wanting to bring in love, you can bring in the heart chakra vibration and actually just run it through their entire energy field and ask that this bring in that energy for them at that vibration. It really opens up their whole body and their energy body to be more accepting to that love vibration.
Which is really cool, because I bet all of us have gotten the question, when will I find love?
Yes.
Right?
Where is Mr. Right?
Where is Mr. Right? And so sometimes the answer is you need to raise your vibration.
Yes.
Well, that's a great place to take a little break here and leave everybody on the seat of their chairs. Please stay with us. We're going to be right back in a few minutes. Thank you.
Discover Your Spiritual Gifts has readers available every day starting at 10 a.m. Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We offer 30-minute readings for $50 and 60-minute readings for $90. You can make an appointment or just stop on in for availability. Call ahead at 720-573-4275.
Well, thank you for joining us again, and we're back with Dave and Jason and Violet and our guests, Richelle and Marva. You're probably all just wondering, okay, what's the punchline here? What are we going to do how can I find love? So we're going to talk about that on an energetic basis.
On an energetic basis, that's right.
On a life path basis. On a past life basis.
I thought we were going to go there. We're not going there?
You mean we don't get free readings on this?
There's enough of us here to supply a reading.
Mr. Right, where are you?
That's a tough one. I've actually had a client who came in, and that was her primary thing. She wanted to really find her soulmate, and I said, I can work with you, and we can get your energy into a place where you're more ready and receiving, but I have no power to bring him into you. That's going to be your vibration matching with his vibration, and the more centered and healed you are, the better you're going to be ready for that relationship to come in, and you're going to attract the right person. And so I put it to her in that terms, and that really seemed to work, because within 6 months she had actually found Mr. Right, and she texted me a few years later and actually said, yep, we're married, and we're expecting our first little one. And so I was so
Marva,
thrilled.
your phones are ringing off the top. Everybody is calling you now. They're ready to get reset to attract Mr. Right. Good luck.
Marva and her matchmaking tuning forks.
I also recently heard that I provided nutrition services to another energy practitioner's client, and I was just the nutrition piece, but together we actually got the news that she had finally conceived. So that was their whole goal, was to get her, so they wanted a family, and they had tried everything else, and the other practitioner was working with her energetically, and I worked with her nutritionally, and she let go of some important emotional things that she was holding, and we set the stage physically with the nutrition, and it was such a beautiful thing that I got the phone call, Marva, our client is pregnant and she's holding on to it, and they're expecting in 6 months. So
that's awesome.
That's one of those moments where I want to cry, to think that I helped her and her husband achieve a family, and there's a little one in the making, and it's just going to be beautiful.
All right.
I love that.
The energy around us, we take it for granted, but there's a lot we can do with energy within us and around us and outside of us. It's pretty cool stuff.
It is.
Energetically. So you two have come together and created your own business after working at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. Tell us about that journey and what that's been about.
Well, Marva and the soap making class that we were talking about, I decided I was going to come one Saturday morning and take her class, and it was just the two of us. But I am we both are on the path to sacred priesthood with Miss Vialet, and we had been talking about using sacred herbs. Oh, I'm sorry. And Jason.
I'm pretty.
You're so pretty. You are. He's giving me this look, and I'm going, what? Oh my gracious. Yes, the three of us are on sacred priesthood.
I want to be on the path.
And so I had brought the herbs that we had been working with. I brought the crystals that I'd used for the crystal pets, and the essential oils that I was working with Miss Vialet, and I said, is there anything we can do with these? And Marva goes, I'm not sure, but let's try.
She kind of stumped me for a minute. I'd never had anybody bring crystals or rocks or anything to put in the soap, because I thought, what purpose does that serve? And then I just let it go. I said, yes, let's do it. Let's try it. And it was a beautiful creation what she made with that. She had herbs and essential oils. We made, yes. And thus began the whole idea, because it really sparked something in me, and I thought, wow, you can really do that. We can bring that piece into something simple and everyday as a soap bar, that we use in the shower every day.
And that is our tagline: bring a bit of sacredness into your daily life.
Yeah.
So, Miss Marva, why would we want to bring sacredness into our life?
Well, to me, it means that we have to recognize that sacredness in ourselves on a more consistent basis. It's like self-care. And the more we recognize that we are beings of light and divine creatures, and can bring in that sense of, gosh, I do deserve to take care of myself, and bring a little bit more of the spiritual side of myself out, and bring in some things to help me achieve that, and stop for a moment, and how can I bring more of that in, just putting it in your shower every day and smelling the beautiful essential oils and knowing that you're bringing the sacred herbs and you're cleansing your skin and bringing the sense of that stone and the crystal inside of the soap, all of those properties together really create an amazing way to start your day. It's wonderful, or end your day at that, depending on what you want to do. But
Right, and then you get a little toy surprise at the end.
It's like a Tootsie Pop for the shower. How many washes does it take to get to the crystal? I'm gonna wash myself twice. I'm so close. I got the bonus one too. My first bar had 2 crystals in it.
How did you do that?
we were.
I washed really fast.
So we hear this story the other day. Somebody's telling us a story about them buying a soap, and she and her husband are sharing the soap, and he happened to be the one. She said he's very dramatic. He happened to be the one where the crystal's gonna pop out, and the crystal popped out and flew at him.
He wasn't expecting it. And she said he had made this very dramatic explanation that he didn't understand what had just happened.
And then there was this noise in the bathtub.
It jumped up.
It was so cute. We had another client come in and just say, "Oh, I loved it because once I got through the bar, I keep the little crystal in my shower to keep my shower and that whole space as a sacred space." And that one made me really just smile.
I have mine on the edge of my, because I got 2 of them. Did I mention I got 2? I put one on each edge of the tub on the side where you get in, right? So to hold that space, to keep it that way. It reminds me all the time that, to take a few extra minutes in the shower and care about yourself. Take the time to let all the other stuff wash off, not just the dirt, but let that energy and those thoughts and all those other things. It's a great way to get yourself clean on all levels.
Oh, thanks, Chief.
So our newest soap is our charcoal soap. We call it New Moon, and it has the
Hematite?
the activated charcoal in it, and it has the hematite as a stone. So a very cleansing stone.
And the charcoal is very cleansing in itself. As a nutritionist, we use it in detoxes where we want to pull out heavy metals and other heavy toxins and things coming out of the body. We tell people to take that activated charcoal because it draws toxins and poisons to it rather quickly. And using it on the skin does the same thing, but it can also bring in the grounding sense with the hematite crystal. And then with the cleansing of the skin, that's your largest organ. We need to make sure we've got that clean and let all that stuff come off after a long day, or
Are these like granules or dust? Or
It's dust.
It's dust. Okay.
It's a fine mist, or kind
Very
of like a dust.
fine.
And so it comes out almost a beautiful light gray color. It's gorgeous. I love the soap. It's pretty.
But my favorite soap is our rose soap.
Yes.
We call it
Scent of a rose.
we call it scent of a rose, which we love, like scent of a woman, scent of a rose.
And it's so beautiful because we put the rose petals in the top, and it just it's beautiful to the eye. It's also got all of that
amazing.
Lovely, the rose absolute essential oils in there, and all the beautiful love that we throw in the crystal and the rose quartz. It's beautiful. Love it.
Well, and you guys expanded a little bit once you had figured out the soaps too, right? Didn't you guys start some other products?
We did. So we now have meditation mats. So there's a chakra mat with all the different chakra colors. In each corner there are grounding stones. So there is a carnelian, an amethyst, a hematite, and a black onyx.
Black onyx, there we go.
To help ground you in. So we have those, and then we started making grounding blankets, which I never heard this term before, but Marva calls it a minky blanket.
Minky quilt, fabric.
A minky fabric, which feels so amazing. And then she has found these quarter panels that we have put on the other side, so that bring in the fairy energy and the dragon energy, or your power animals like the owl. And so those grounding blankets have been beautiful. And then those we enhance also, sometimes putting stones to the outsides on the sides, so like an angel light or an opal light, in addition to the grounding stones that we put in there.
Yeah, they're really a great way for people to be able to draw their energy down. The amethyst also opens up the channel to spirit, so people can actually sit and they can be on the earth and be connected down here with the carnelian for the lower chakras and the amethyst for the upper chakra, to kind of keep us grounded but yet connected in both the earth as well as the upper realm, and it helps bring your energy down at the end of the day. Richelle and I just had this inspiration to write something, and it brings in the physical as well as the spiritual side of things. When you at the end of a long day, you can wrap one of the lovely blankets around you, and it really does engage that parasympathetic nervous system. So what we're saying is that we need to rest and digest. That whole resting piece is a really important way for your body to start the healing process. As a healer, when we put someone on the table, that's what we're trying to engage as well. We want them to be open and receptive to the healing, and that blanket also does that same thing. So it allows the adrenals to rest, it allows the whole body to start opening and accepting the energies around them, and it brings them into a great, wonderful mental space too. So we're fighting against depression, we're letting that stress go from the day, and we're also bringing in the properties of those lovely crystals to help us stay grounded here and be connected and just come back down into our own self so we can breathe and feel so much better and go about the rest of our day.
That's great.
They've been a really fun process. I get to quilt again. I get to sew again, which is an old hobby that I have been collecting fabric for about 20 years in my basement. And poor Richelle's like, what do we have to sew with? And I went, here's like 4 tubs. Let's start digging through here. So it was really kind of a fun reopening of something that I haven't done for many years. And it's a passion and a hobby that I love. And this is a new way to express that for me. So I'm finding a new excitement and joy in that as well. So it's kind of, I know I'm on the right path if there's joy in it.
Marva doesn't sleep.
That is true.
Well, 6 hours a night or so is good.
Marva doesn't sleep. Going home from the expo, sewing more blankets so we have more at the expo, right? She doesn't sleep. But the crystals, Jason and I love crystals. We work with crystals a lot. We have a real love for our crystals. So having the crystals in the stuffed pets, having the crystals in the grounding blankets are amazing. The crystals in the soaps are amazing, but you all do body butters and stuff too with stuff in them.
Yeah. So
each of the body butters have a crystal in the middle, so they've have the essential oils in them. And Marva did a lot of research on the body butter, just like she did with the soap, looking for something that was pure, clean, and not going to cause any kind of adverse reaction. And so then bringing in those beautiful scents, we have a sunrise, which is our blood orange. We have a rose, and
we have the island coconut.
Oh,
so
and
you
the
can feel like
coconut.
you're on vacation in this lovely place.
And then they all have their crystal in there. So again, you get that little toy surprise.
Yeah.
And so what's the name of your company?
Infused Crystal Creations. And we're so happy. We're getting the website up and going, so stay tuned.
But we are on Facebook.
We are on Facebook.
Infused Crystal Creations.
And we do have many other things in the future coming. So we're going to be at a fair this weekend. Richelle will be up there in Longmont.
With Jason.
Because he's pretty.
It's true. and it's true that we'll be in Longmont.
So we'll be posting future places where we're going to be having our products at different fairs around. So stay tuned, and we'll keep you posted.
Follow them on Facebook so you know where they're at, what they're doing, or stop by Discover Your Spiritual Gifts and see them. They have a few of their soaps and butters here, and they're typically here on Wednesdays. So if you come in, they're usually doing stuff with their blankies, so you can come in and see what they're doing.
And we've done a lot of individual orders that customize it for the individual person. So don't feel shy. Come on in and ask us for a specific stone that you want or a specific blanket. If you have a spirit animal that really speaks to you or a favorite color, we're happy to work with that and really create something that will help you bring a little sacredness into your day too.
Pretty awesome what they do. I know. I have grounding blanket too.
The first of several, probably.
Probably. I've asked for a king size quilt. We'll see. I've already warned Tom. Said I put in a request for rocks in her quilt for her bed. Let's see what that looks like.
Can I pick out the ones for Tom's side?
I can see me ordering that fabric going, I need, it's 15 yards. And they're going to go, what for?
Jason, are you putting coal on his side? Lumps of coal?
Yes, anthracite is a healing rock.
Well, something heavy, yes.
Poor Tom.
He'll be fine.
He can handle anything.
Well, I've got to tell you my funny blanket story, because one of my brothers may need one of your blankets. So when he was a little kid, the child raising thought at that time was a little kid in a blanket is inappropriate, for like Linus and Peanuts. And so what they did with my brother is, we need to wash your blanket. Well, every time I went to the washing machine, it got cut in half. And so pretty soon he's walking around with this little blanket about this size of a deck of cards. Something's wrong here. I just don't know what.
Stop drying that thing. It keeps shrinking.
Why did you put the dryer on?
I'll just hand wash it, Mom. It'll be fine.
It'll be okay.
No, I've got another story with rocks too. I just we decided to do something funny. I went on one of these corporate outward bound things. So we were out in the hills for 4 days as a team building exercise, and we had a couple guys who were just so gung ho it just kind of made you want to gag, after a while. And we're getting ready to climb up this mountain, and so when we all had to carry packs because we all had to have our own, slicker in case we had bad weather, and we had to have this, and we had to have our water jugs. And, I mean, they made sure that you were weighed down heavily. Well, on this one guy, I kind of moved his stuff around, and I put in about 6 cobblestones. And he kind of discovered it when he was about halfway up the mountain looking through for something. He's like, well, who put these in here? Well, I just choose to see them as healing crystals.
What were you trying to infuse in?
Infused me with a lot of humor.
There we go.
And a number of the other people found it rather remarkable, too.
There you go. You got it.
Oh, poor guy.
That's okay.
Well, I created my own crystals a long time ago. I had my gallbladder out in 1985, and it had some little interesting stones in there.
Sure it did. Ouch.
And I was glad to have them removed.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
Jason's like, I'm not sure what to say.
They're like in a jar?
It's very rare to
In
see
your
them
case,
without
in your
something.
room? What do you do with those?
I got them in a little plastic container from the dock because I said I wanted them, because I had heard at the time that some people's come out, they actually look like pearls. They look like irregular pearls.
Collecting little layers of
Well, mine didn't. They look like little dark olive green fuzzy raisins.
Oh.
So I kept them for a while.
That's telling.
And then just ultimately got rid of them. Yes.
You need to make sure you give the gallbladder lots of love.
You just never know what we'll talk about on Discovering Your Spiritual Gifts.
Fuzzy raisins.
You're pretty too.
Thank you.
Even if your gallbladder makes
You and your fashionable gallbladder stones.
Even if my gallbladder isn't an oyster. Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Jason's just shaking his head. If only you could see this live. Scary.
Could be very interesting.
Yeah.
Could be very interesting. Well, thank you, ladies, for being with us today. Thank you for your beautiful products. We absolutely love your soaps and your crystals and your blankets, all the stuff that you're doing. I love your pretty new boxes, too, so I think those
Oh yeah, the new marketing is great.
The new boxes are really amazing.
We
So
just had our logo done by Sue Lund, and we're really thrilled with it. She did a great job, and we're hoping that it just keeps everything rolling and growing as we go.
Well, thank you guys for being our biggest fan, because
Yes,
you
thank you.
absolutely are. We can't thank you enough for that.
We love the opportunity to come and chat about everything that we do and be here with you. It's great being at the center with everybody. Thanks for today.
well, thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us today on this show. Please stay tuned. We're going to highlight several people here at the center, and we'll see you next week or in 2 weeks, whatever. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.
I am Brenda Hardwick, an award-winning author and healer who is a teacher and practitioner of Seraphic Wisdom. I'm also studied in several other healing modalities, such as shamanic Reiki, and a certified integrative nutrition health coach. Through my connection with the Creator and the guidance of my angels, I provide as much enlightenment as possible to the clients who come and see me. Healing is the foundation of what I practice. Teaching is the method I use to create the ripple effect that will help change the world. Writing is how I encourage and facilitate the transformation of others to the higher vibrations we are all seeking. As a healer, I am connected and attuned to the seraphim. They are the high angels. They help me heal mind, body, and soul of those who come to me. I also use laughter as medicine, and the health coaching is applied to help clients receive a well-rounded approach to finding their light and shining their health. You can find me at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts every Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I also practice out of the St. Andrew Healing Arts Center in Arvada, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. I look forward to helping you find your light and shine it.
Hi, I'm Joyce Gerald. I am a trance channel. I do individual readings, but what I really love to do is teach people how to channel. I've been teaching channeling for about 11 years. I kind of stumbled into the teaching part because I had a client who came to me who wanted to channel, and she said that the only way she could do it is if she was hypnotized because she was terrified. So I was channeling Archangel Metatron for her, and he turned the tables on her and had her start channeling for me. She was absolutely fantastic, one of the best people I've seen. When she was finished with it, she was in tears because it's the first time she'd been able to do it without being hypnotized first. Her guides had asked me if I would start a class to help support her so that she would be comfortable channeling around other people. And so I said, okay, I would teach channeling. So I did a little research and gathered several people to attend the first class. We were all very excited. So I said that she was supposed to bring me to the teaching part of what I do. I enjoy it immensely. Everyone channels in my classes. I have never had anyone who is unable to, but anyone who came in with the intention and the desire always was able to channel. And it's a really fun class. I'll be teaching classes here at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts beginning in March. I have 2 level 1 classes coming up and then a level 2 class. The level 1 class enables you to initially have those words come out of your mouth, but at that point you're not really able to attain that space and just start on your own. And so level 2 is further refining and practicing. They're all really fun classes. You get to listen to everyone else channel. You get to ask questions of the others who are there. So it's a really fun thing to do. You can find the details on the classes at the discoveryourspiritualgifts.com website. They also have a meetup, and I've also put all of my classes on Eventbrite.
Discover connection, awaken sacredness, become empowered. Join us for our show on Blog Talk Radio.